you got to remember, you know, I'm going to be 94 years old in October. And a lot of this is a little bit hard for me to keep talking, number one, to stay alive through the interview. Well, as usual, Dan called me up. He said, come on in over. We're doing a movie. It's called this and that. And I'm running it through today. You know, that's it, you know, come on over. And I went over there, obviously, and sat, and they started playing the movie. And I think it started, I started one trend that I did start, that the producers, the network fought about it. I don't remember who won. I started with the main title with no music whatsoever. Is that the way it still goes? Well, then I won. Because I said to Dan, I said, I think when I start with no music, it's going to make everybody look at this thing intensely and say, what is this? What's going on? Because they're so used to the cliche of the second the movie starts, music is playing. And I thought to myself, I don't want any music here. Let's have this guy operating or doing whatever the hell he's doing, and we'll worry about it. And then at the next cut, or wherever, where I did actually start the music, then we can start the music in. Well, he loved it. He thought it was a great idea. He came, Cobert, the network people don't like, they say they gotta have music to start with, you know. And then about 3 days later or so, I said, well, okay, I'll do something, you know, if that's what you, about 3 days, he called back and he said, I think this is what he said, the network said they've looked at it and they love it. So you're telling me now that it stayed that way. Yeah, okay. So then when it got past that, and something else was going on, and we were sitting there, and the music was playing, and nothing, the music was playing, and the picture was playing, and I heard in my head, boom, 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 I started singing it. He said, what are you singing? I said, I'm singing the music. He said, that's great. You know, you're going to use that? I said, well, yeah, sure, why not? I remember his associate producer, Bob Singer, said to me, how do you come up with that? It's the same story all the time. I said, I have no idea. That started to play there, and this started to play in my head. And that was it. And that was the beginning of the Kolchak story, you know. All I can tell you is that that's what I heard when it started. Then I guess when I saw Darren and what was going on, I thought to myself, this piece that I'm thinking about for the ear is going to work great underneath him, because it's kind of like him for some reason or other. And that's the only thing I can tell you about it. You know, once again, it's very difficult, and people think I'm being modest or holding back some secrets, that there is really a way that you write this music. And maybe other composers, I don't know what other composers do, you know. Maybe they have some sort of set ideas. I don't think so. I think it's the same thing with all of us. You look at the picture and you're a composer. You start composing. So that's, you know, you try to match, of course. You match what the movie, you do what the movie is calling for. You don't just write something, you know, out of left field that doesn't make any sense. You write what, you're an extra voice. I like to be an extra voice rather than Mickey Mouse. And if the thing isn't saying it's saying it on the screen, I like to say it with the music. And let the audience know what the underlying thing is thinking about and all that kind of stuff. And very often play against a scene. This is not making any sense to anybody except me. At any rate. So there is a technique to it, of course, but the basic raw material just comes to you. You look at it, and that's why you're a composer and not a shoemaker. You know, Shoemaker looks at a shoe, he says, okay, it needs a resoling. I look at the movie, I say, it needs bum, 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 bum. You know, it's simplistic, but that's all I can think of to say. My wife and I became friendly with Darren and his wife during that. We had some some fun lunches at the Polo Lounge at the Beverly Hills. Turns out we had a lot in common, the four of us. Had good times with that. Met a lot of nice people through the movies and stuff like that, you know. At any rate. No, you know, he then, as it came along, he would call me and tell me and whatever. You doing anything? You know, I'm fine, I'm okay, you know, let's do this, you know. Sometimes, if there's no rough cut yet, I get a script. I'm sure it wasn't the case with Strangler. I'm sure he made the movie and said, okay, Cobert, come and look at the movie, you know. Trying to think if there's anything outstandingly different that went on that way. Same old, same old. Look at the picture. So, you know, it's just, well, we're going to, obviously we've already got the theme. You know, there's nothing to worry about there, nothing to think about. And just go home and write the back. Just go home and write it, you know. How soon do you need it? 7 days. Oh, come on, Dan. You know, 7 days, Cobe, that's it. Or 12 days, or 11 days. I mean, the deadlines were just unbelievable. The deadlines are unbelievable because I'm the last guy working. The effects people and me are the last guys working. And me even after the effects people. As a result, they have to keep everybody hanging around on salary while I finish the music. Well, can you imagine studios and networks hanging out for that? How much do you need for the music? Oh, give a week or something. 12 days, 18 days. Don't worry about it. He'll do it, he'll do it. So you don't sleep for, you know, for a week and a half or 2 weeks. And you come in, you think you've got a score. You don't even know what the hell you're doing by the time you're finished. That was hateful, the speed. And yet, I was able to turn out good work with it, work that satisfied me. I tried not to ever hand in anything that I didn't believe in. Sometimes I'd believe in it and damn wouldn't. I remember there was a lot of source music in there when they were underground someplace. And I have a feeling, you know, the violin from a photograph, yeah. I have a feeling I may have written something original for that. I'm pretty sure I did. I am so proud of what I do. I am proud, I don't know much about today's composer. I am so proud of all of my fellow composers. We do a fantastic job. I've seen a lot of bad movies and a lot of bad scripts. I have very rarely heard a bad music score. The guys really just write, they just write beautifully. And you realize, I mean, how many of us are there in the entire world who write successfully, who are able to make a decent living and have a good life out of writing? 100 maybe in the entire world? Seems like a big number to me. I can't think of 100 names of composers, you know. And every once in a while I see one name here, you know, blah, blah. I'm just adding this because of the fact that people say to me, well, you know, what do you think of his music and what did you think of his music? They're all sensational, every one of them. Every time I go to the movie and hear a good score, I say, I wish I had written that, you know. And I must say, since I retired, I'm delighted at not having to look at a movie and think, what would I have done here? Or, gee, did he do that right? It's a pleasure to just go look at a movie and enjoy it. And of course, I hear the music and I know what's going on. And I listen to music completely differently than a layman listens to music, you know. So I just thought I'd add that in case anybody cares.